Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Trust Links Live at 10. So my name's Penny. I'm one of the tutors at Reach Recovery College, and I'm quite new to Trust Links, so I may not have met you yet. So if I haven't, hello, nice to meet you. So this morning's slot, wellbeing tips and mindfulness. So firstly, I just want to say thank you for being here and sharing this space and this time, and I hope it will be of value to you. And how wonderful that we can actually still connect and meet together, even if not in person. It's great that we have this resource, that we're able to share this experience together, and we're all very much together in this. So firstly, I was thinking, what could my top wellbeing tips for the day, what could they be today? And I've thought of three that will hopefully be of help. And maybe some of you are already taking on these tips in your life at the moment. So we're going to look at 3 tips for well-being. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about mindfulness, and then we're going to have a practice together, do some breathing together and just practice some mindfulness. And then I'm going to check in with the comments and any questions that you have at the end. So hello everybody that's joining, welcome. So firstly, top tips of the day. Number 1, I think this is really key, where we live in such a 24/7 time of consistent news, and especially consistent negative news. My first top wellbeing tip would be to really consciously limit the amount of news that you're watching, that you're reading, that you are allowing in. Really important. So I haven't seen any news yet today. I usually watch it later, around dinner time. Certainly not the 10 o'clock news at night, because then if you're going to bed shortly after that, it affects your sleep without a doubt. So you want to be in that calm space before bed. Really important. So yeah, really limit that time. Just be conscious of what you're watching. Yeah, once a day, check in, see what's going on in other places in the world, and then really try and focus your time and your energy in the present moment, and in positivity and good things that are happening in the world, because there are still. So that would be my number 1 top tip. Number 2, when you wake up in the morning, first thing, this kind of goes a little bit with number 1, but do not grab for your phone or put on the radio or the news. Really important, and it might be a good time to get into this if you haven't already, to develop a morning practice for yourself. So I know I've been doing this for some time now, and it makes a huge difference to my day. If I just get sort of straight out of bed, grab my phone, see what's going on in everyone else's life, the radio waking me up or the news waking me up, it puts me in a certain frame of mind, and you kind of hit the ground and lay, and it can kind of go on from there. But if you're waking up a little bit early, and now maybe there's not so much of a rush in the mornings, it's a perfect time for you to start a morning practice. Now, this will be different for all of us. Some of the things you can do would maybe be journaling, And I know Charlotte is wonderful at journaling and has some great tips and ideas for your journaling practice. You might have a spiritual practice, you may pray, you might find meditation or mindfulness helpful, or just even breathing, just to sort of sit quietly and just to really sort of check in with yourself before rushing into your day. So that's a really good tip for as soon as your eyes are open. Even practicing your gratitude, like some of you are practicing, have a gratitude journal. That might be a good thing, just to sit quietly, think of 3 things that you're grateful for right now, and then go about your day. Then maybe put on the news. And what was my last one? I just jotted them down here, my little wellbeing tips of the day. Right, so tip number 3, to really practice, and we're going to go on and do this in the mindfulness, but practice staying present. So there is a real practice in being able to capture your thoughts, to be able to stay in the moment. And quite often when there is a lot of negative news and a lot going on in the world, we can be bombarded and get caught up in our thinking, which isn't always helpful. In fact, it's mostly not helpful. Our mind sort of chattering on. And so actually, often we are unconsciously in that trail of thought, and before we know it, we're feeling anxious and worried about things. So if we can capture those moments, and you know, this is about mindfulness as well, capturing them times and thinking, oh, there goes that thought again. You know, there goes that catastrophizing. There goes them, what if this, what if that. If we can capture them moments and just notice, without judging, but just noticing, oh, I'm thinking that again. And it just brings us back. It just stops in its tracks and brings us back to the present. And we can practice breathing, which we'll go on and do. But even just in that moment, like, oh, I'm thinking that again. And right, what's happening here? What's happening right now, presently? And just becoming really conscious of that to bring yourself back into the present moment is really a good key tip and good thing to practice anyway, but especially now. Okay, so hopefully there's some good tips there that we can all practice and develop. And what a great time we've got, all this time now to develop these practices that that we will hopefully continue into when life returns as it was, and hopefully maybe not quite as it was. Hopefully we're going to take some good tips and things forward with us from this time, from this challenging time. So mindfulness. Now I'm going to put down my computer, which I completely go off grid. I don't know why I make notes or anything anyway. Excuse me. So we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. Now, some of you may already have a mindfulness practice. Some of you may never have done that, and wonder what it is. And basically, all it is and what it is really a practice about being present. It's about being in the present moment, and it's not about emptying your mind, because good luck with that if you're trying to do that. But you know, our minds are thinking machines, so this is not about that, but this is about being aware. It is about being present, and it's about noticing. It's really about noticing what is going on. And again, I think this is really key. Oh dear, low battery mode. That's not good, is it? I might need to jump up and plug this in somewhere. In fact, I'm going to do that now, because if we get into mindfulness practice and then my battery goes, that's not going to be good, is it? Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, and I charged it before. It's an old iPhone. There we go. Da, da, da. We are plugged in. Right. Where was I? Mindfulness. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk you through this, and we can do it together. And what we're going to do is just start off, and again, this is one of them tips of if you're sort of practicing that mindful thinking or capturing that negativity and the worry going through your mind. This is a really good practice to do, and we can start by doing this. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths together, and what I want you to imagine is, like, as you breathe in calm, breathe in peace, and then as you breathe out stress, breathe out worry. Okay, so if you can just imagine in your mind's eye whatever that looks like for you, and we're just going to practice that 3 of these deep conscious breaths together. Okay, so if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, please do. If not, you might want to just lower your gaze and just find a spot to look at, or just sitting in front of my nice little painting, well, my husband's painting of Hadley Castle behind me. So that might be, I thought that might be a nice thing for you to look at if you'd rather do that. So 3 big breaths together. So when you're ready, you're going to breathe in calm and peace, and just breathe out stress, worry, any negative thoughts that are going on right now for you. And again, and then just let that all go. And again, and let that go. It's sometimes good to really connect with yourself, just to even put your hand on your chest or even on your stomach, or both, as you just take some big conscious breaths and just breathe out all that stress, all the goings on that are difficult for you right now. And then as we go into a little mindfulness practice, how this works is, I like to imagine, like, if you was the sky, the beautiful blue sky, which we've seen a lot of these last few days, which is lovely, and then thoughts, because thoughts will come. But if you can imagine your thoughts almost like clouds that are passing, and it's like you become the observer, without judging, without jumping onto one of those clouds and going off with that, as our thoughts do. This is about learning to actually take a couple of steps back from being reactive and in the moment, and actually just noticing. You know, if we're that step back, we can just notice, we can just see our thoughts. Oh, there's that thought, without judgment, without going down that trail. And if you do, you just come back to being aware of your breath. Okay? So that's, I think, something maybe to give you a bit of a visual on how that works. And then, so I'll talk you through it. And again, if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, please do so. and we're just gonna breathe together, not necessarily big breaths, but you can if you want to. But we're just going to become aware of our breathing. Now, if you can sit in a comfortable position now, preferably upright, but not with your back straight, and both feet firmly planted on the floor. So uncross your legs if they're crossed. And then just place your hands just gently in your lap. And just get comfortable where you are. And become aware of your breathing right now. What does it sound like? Is it shallow? Is it quite deep? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your nostrils? Do you feel it in your chest? And I just want you to notice now any sensations in your body. Is there any discomfort in your body? You might want to move a little bit. And just notice what's happening for you now. Notice what's going on for you right now, right here. And just come back to your breathing. Feeling what that feels like. And see now if you can expand your awareness to sound. What can you hear? What can you hear? Can you hear your own breathing? Noises in the room. Maybe you can hear a clock ticking or a fridge humming. Just notice. And see if you can expand that awareness to outside the room that you're in, or you may be in a garden. What can you hear? Can you hear birds? Can you hear other people? I can hear traffic. Just notice how far you can listen. And then just coming back to your breath, to the chair that you're sitting on, or the cushion, or the bed, wherever you are. Just come back to that place. And just really feel your feet on the floor right now. And just gently, just give your toes a wriggle. And just feel them planted, your feet planted firmly on the floor. Just that you are here. Now, if your thoughts have gone off and wandered, that's okay. That's what they do. Just notice. Notice where they've gone. Where did your thoughts go? You're thinking about the next thing to do, your to-do list. Just come back to breath. And just let that pass. Let them thoughts pass. And just come back to your breath. And again, just noticing any sensations that you may be feeling, and see if you can feel, is there any tension? Is there a place in your body where there's tension? Just notice how you're holding yourself. And if your shoulders, I know I hold tension in my shoulders, just let your shoulders drop. And just notice that. Just become aware. And I'm going to just be quiet now for a little while, just for you to be in this space. And then we shall end this practice. And if your eyes have been closed, then just gently open them. And give yourself a little wriggle around and come back into the room, the space where you are. And just check in with yourself now. Just check in how you feel now. Did you forget about some of your worries, some of the other things going on? Was you able to really be in that moment? How was that experience for you? Do you feel maybe more of a sense of calm? Let's have a little check in now with some of the tips. So helpful. Thank you, Jackie. Calming, lovely, Charlotte. What's that say? Slam. Thanks for all the love, guys. It's so good. I mean, how long was that? I haven't even got a clock. Let me have a look at the time. I mean, what was that, 5 minutes that we just did there? It doesn't have to, you know, it's not about, oh, I've got to sit for an hour and meditate. It's really not. This is sort of 5 minutes of calm. You know, you can do this in the morning, you can do this before you go to bed. Very needed very needed for lots of people, George, absolutely. It really is, because it's so easy to get so caught up in all that thinking, and 99.9% of all the craziness of what's going on in our minds, it's future based, and probably will never happen. So see if you can develop your practice. We might do some more stuff maybe about developing a morning practice and what that looks like. So if that's if that will be helpful for some of you guys, then let me know and drop your comments. Anything else, if you enjoyed this. I've actually got my son who's a music producer. I've got him to actually make me not his usual thing that he does, but where there's people not now coming round, I've got him doing some nice ambient kind of sounds, and which will be really useful for especially for those having trouble sleeping and just need that kind of calm. I'm just in the process of putting some music together with him that I'd love to share with you guys as well. So stay well, stay safe, focus on the positive and what you can do, and then let go of the rest. So look forward to calming music. Yeah, I think that can be helpful, especially if you don't necessarily want to sit in silence, or you can't do that. I think just to have some just really gentle sounds is good for to help us to focus as well. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it, guys, and I hope this is beneficial and it's given you some maybe food for thought with regards to your own well-being, which is so very important. So lots of love, and see you soon. Mwah. Now I've got to figure out how to stop it. Here we go. See you soon, guys.